Millions of people around the world are trying to save money for a rainy day. Someone is saving money for a new car, house or playground. Others are saving up for a prosperous old age and even a decent death. But is it possible to get rich very quickly? For example, just find a treasure and solve all your financial problems at once? Where did ancient people usually bury treasures and how can they be found now? Is it really necessary to dive to the bottom of the ocean to find a treasure chest and look for a sunken pirate ship there? Or climb high into the mountains to find that cave where someone hid their wealth? Is there an easy way to find a lot of money to get rich in one day, and if so, where to look for these treasures? If you think that treasure hunting high in the mountains is a fiction, then I hasten to disappoint you that this is not so. Not so long ago, a man climbed the Mont Blanc mountains. It's in France. There he accidentally found several bags in which many precious stones were wrapped. On the packages themselves there was an inscription, "Made in India." According to the laws of France, he handed over the find to the police, and then he had to wait 8 years to find out if the owners of the pebble would show up. But the treasures turned out to be of no use to anyone, and the man received his part of the jewelry in the amount of 150,000 euros. But there is one big question in this story. Where did these jewels come from so high in the mountains of France and even from India? Experts have been racking their brains for a long time, and it turned out that in the middle of the last century 2 passenger planes from India crashed in the Alps. One of the passengers was from Bombay, and he was flying to New York. Most likely, this man wore stones, but he had no heirs. Friends, a plane crash is a very tragic event. However, how many similar tragedies have occurred high in the mountains since the moment planes appeared in our lives? Why don't you take a chance and climb the mountains? In order to know in which area and where to dig, you need to study history. Having figured out where the rich nobility lived in ancient times, you can take a shovel and boldly go on a search. But modern methods offer an easier way. For example, you can use a metal detector. Prince Vladimir of Kiev had a daughter, Maria Dobrynaga. She lived for a long time with her sisters in a castle on the island, until one day she married the Polish prince Casimir I. It was in the 1000th years. Maria had a ring with an engraved inscription, "Lord, help the servant Mary," which was found by one of the priests from Poland in a cornfield. The priest invited an archaeologist from the Institute of Archaeology and Ethnology of the Polish Academy of Sciences to the site, who found a huge treasure. It was hidden in a ceramic vessel, and there were countless treasures. A medieval treasure contained thousands of silver coins and ingots. Friends, of course, it is impossible to dig up other people's graves, even if they are very ancient. However, nothing prevents you from becoming a volunteer in an archaeological expedition. And let you not get rich, but you will definitely enjoy the artifacts found. Archaeologists of Turkey have described a fantastic find. In the grave of the V century, the remains of a middle-aged woman were found, buried surrounded by gold and precious stones. Several graves have been found in the area, but all of them have already been looted, except for one. In it, archaeologists found bones, glass beads and a golden headdress studded with semi-precious stones. On the skeleton there were 4 buckles from the clothes in which the woman was buried, also decorated with semi-precious stones. Fantastic! Especially lucky and persistent divers know exactly where to dive to get the treasure. But, it turns out, it is not necessary to be a professional diver. If you are engaged in free diving and are an amateur, you can also find a treasure. In August, a couple of vacationers collected not only souvenirs from the bottom of the Portadexal Bay in Spain. Luis Lenz Pardo and Cesar Jimeno Alcala were doing free diving when they noticed a shimmer on the ocean floor. It turned out that these were gold coins from 1,500 years ago, which the divers reported to the authorities. The coins dated to the last period of the Western Roman Empire, between 364 and 408 AD, depicted the faces of several emperors: Valentinian I, Valentinian II, Theodosius I, Arcadius and Honorius. There were no shipwrecks nearby, but because of the remains of iron and wood near the find, archaeologists have suggested that the coins were originally in a small chest. Where these coins, worth a lot of money, came from, no one knows. However, now we are sure that finding the treasure is not as difficult as it seems. More attention. One young man did not even know that his house stood on the land where the village used to be, many hundreds of years ago. One day a friend came to visit him and examined his plot with a metal detector. His curiosity was rewarded, and he found a treasure trove of coins, jewelry and trinkets dating back to the Iron Age. But that's not all. The total weight of gold was about 1 kilogram. This discovery became the basis for major archaeological excavations. As a result, it was found that in the 6th century, a large village was located on the place where the house now stands, and around it. Archaeologists have found many more interesting things on this land: Roman coins, jewelry and a lot of gold. That's it, my friends. You should study the history carefully. What if there's a chest of gold buried under your porch? My friends, thank you for watching. I create high-quality content for you. Don't miss new videos. Subscribe to the channel and click on the bell to receive a notification. Michael's with you.